Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of a Pretty Little Podcast. I'm Allie Violet Vixen Commissaro, and I'm here with my gorgeous co-host Jesse.
Hello, guys. Welcome back another week. We are so happy to have you, and I'm so happy to have our next guest on.
Tonight, we're joined by the energetic and widely talented Scotty Austin. Known for his killer vocals, rock and roll spirit, and infectious personality, Scotty is here to share stories, laughs, and insights from his incredible music journey. Please welcome Scotty Austin.
Hey, how are you guys
Hey!
doing? Hey, that was a great introduction. You should say that again.
I'll make a little clip for you and send it
Uh,
to
yeah,
you.
I'll accept that.
So, how are you doing tonight?
I am doing fantastic. Thank you, ladies, for having me.
Oh, thank you so much for taking the time. So,
My pleasure.
how did you get started in music and what inspired you to pursue it as a career?
Oh my goodness, it's all I've ever done. I'm a fifth generation musician.
Wow.
Yeah, I come from a, a bluegrass gospel band with my family. So I started this when I was really, really little. So I was very young. My grandfather was the band leader, and you know, my whole family was in the band. So I've really done it my whole life. And my other grandfather, he was a really successful songwriter in Nashville. He wrote a lot of country music. Like he wrote the B side to the song "Stand by Your Man." I don't know if you've heard that song.
I love that
Stand by
song.
your. My grandfather wrote the B side to that. So it's
Wow.
which they don't have B sides anymore, but back then, they had 45s, the small records, and every time "Stand by Your Man" sold, my grandfather's song sold too. So he made a shit ton of money off of that, and
Oh, that's awesome.
I know it's been just a that
So,
was very cool.
who were some of the like artists that you grew up listening to?
Uh, my family mainly, but I can recall the first time I heard an electric guitar was "Appetite for Destruction." I heard that. I was like, "What the hell is that?" I knew immediately I wanted to do that. I was like, whatever that is, that's what I'm going to do. And turns out
Oh,
that's what I
that's
do.
so fun. That's so great. Like that's a pretty like wide variety of like music inspiration.
I've done a lot of stuff. I don't. I just like music. I just love and live for music, and always have. I've done a bunch of different things. I was a blues guitar player for a long time. I got fourth place in the world in the international blues contest, and
That's incredible.
a long
Oh,
time
that's
ago. Yeah, I represented Memphis in the contest and got fourth place.
oh,
Blues
that's
is
so
such
cool.
there's so much like music theory and stuff like that that goes into it. It's like
Yeah, turns
super.
out it's called blues for a reason because there's no money in it. So I starved all those years, but I did love doing it. I've done a lot of wild stuff. I played percussions in the Middle Tennessee Symphony.
Wow.
I went
How
to
what was that
Central
experience
America.
like?
I was terrible at it. I was terrible at it. It was like a whole bunch of rest. I don't know if any of you guys have ever studied music before, but there's a whole bunch of resting, like, one, two, three,
Mhm.
four. And then I have like one gong hit. I'm like, I miss it. And then stop the whole symphony, like, hold on. Like 50 people turn around, like, Jesus, are you serious? Like, my bad. I missed the gong hit. Yeah, that was rough. But I enjoyed it. Not that I was any good at it. I did enjoy it.
Now, how did you hook up with Saving Abel?
But that was a pretty wild story too. I was a professional country guitar player before Saving Abel. I worked for a Broken Bow and a Stony Creek Records, which is Jason Aldean's label, as a band leader.
I just saw him. I just saw him a couple months ago.
Yeah, fantastic. They're fantastic. That whole band is great. But I was a band leader for the label, and I just got sick of country music because it was so production line that I was just like, I'm done. I'm done with this music. And I just I left Nashville and went back to my mom's, and I'd been writing songs for a bunch of years, You know, I didn't ever try to be a songwriter. I just been writing songs, you know, about experiences that I had. And I have an autistic son, and you know he's nonverbal. And I decided, you know what, I wasn't a singer at this point either. I just sang harmonies. I was just a guitar player. I was like, you know, I want to record these songs so he'll have them after I'm gone. So I just want to make sure that they don't disappear. And I went to a studio in Memphis, Tennessee, and worked with Justin Reimer from the band 12 Stones. I don't know if you're familiar with them, but I recorded these songs. I wasn't trying to do anything with it. I just wanted to record them. And Jeff Hansen, he was the manager of Saving Abel, got a hold of my recordings. He's also the guy that discovered Creed and managed
Yeah.
them all the way up. And he got a hold of my record, and he called me up. He's like, "Man, you're the worst singer I've ever heard." But he's like, "I can't get enough of it." I'm like, "Okay, well, you could have said I can't get enough of it. You didn't have to say it was terrible, but whatever." he was like, "I want to be your manager," and I was already jaded. I was like, "I don't give a shit what you want." I was like, "I'll tell you what. If you want to be my manager, Saving Abel's playing this weekend in Memphis. I want to open for him." He said, "Done deal." And he called, kicked the band off that was playing off of the show. I played the one show with them. And the next morning, Saving Abel called me and said that I was their new singer. So they got rid of their singer and hired me that next day.
Wow.
And 10 years
Oh,
later, you know, it's a wild ride.
that's insane.
I know, it was insane.
So what was so the first show that you played with them was in,
It was at the Machine Shop in Flint, Michigan for a sold out show,
what
which I
was
don't know
that
if you,
experience like?
it was wild. It was wild. And I don't know. It was surreal, I guess. I got too close to the crowd, and some girls pulled my hair out. That's the first time I'd ever had that experience. They got a hold of me by my mohawk. I was like, "Oh shit! Didn't expect this." It was wild. Yeah.
So with
Uh,
all these crazy experiences, what would you say is your most memorable experience from your career in total?
wow, man, there's been so many amazing events, but one that really does stand out. Well, I mean, gosh, that first show was memorable because you know the Machine Shop's the most famous rock and roll club in the country. But just to name a few, uh, I played St. Pete, Florida's Bike Week a few years back, and the Army sent out paratroopers. So we were singing the song 18 Days. While I was singing it, we had paratroopers fly in out of an airplane with streamers coming out of the back of their shoes, doing aerial maneuvers and landing on this big giant flat American flag in the middle of the show. It was pretty spectacular, I thought. And it was right on the sand.
Cool.
We were sitting on the sand with the sun setting behind us on the Gulf. It was pretty magical.
Man, that sounds like a Super Bowl like
Yeah.
halftime routine.
It was epic. I also played the Whiskey a Go Go one day, and the Doors showed up for my sound check. The actual band, the Doors, the living ones left. And
That's
Oh,
so
wow.
cool.
yeah, my crew wouldn't let them in because they was like, "That's a closed sound check," and they laid the law down. They're like, "Do you know who we are? The original house band of this place." Because we were upstairs in the dressing room, and my road manager came up. He's like, the Doors are downstairs." And we went downstairs and hung out with them. They were super cool.
That's
Really cool stuff.
fucking awesome. That's so cool.
It was pretty epic. We got to
So,
play in outside Stonehenge. Done all kinds of cool stuff. I got
oh,
to see
that's awesome.
Beethoven and Mozart's grave in Austria, and it was all thanks to music. You know,
Yeah. That's just like it takes you all around the world and all the
it
things you
literally has. I'm very blessed.
What would you say is like the most crazy venue for sound?
Machine Shop wins it
Machine
all.
shop.
Yep, it holds like 550 people, and everybody that's anybody plays there, and it's always packed. You know, it could be 40 degrees below zero, and there'll be a line of people outside ready to rock and roll.
That's
Oh,
awesome.
that's awesome.
Yeah, it's freaking
Yeah,
epic. If you haven't
we've
been,
had
you
some
should go.
other guests that have played there. So I mean, like I see pictures of it online. I'm like, wow, like that place looks awesome.
I have a show coming up there, February, I believe it is. So if you guys come over, it'll be a blast. I promise.
That's awesome. So, as far as your songwriting, what is your approach to songwriting?
It varies. Sometimes it's automatic writing. I don't know if you know what that is. It just kind of comes to you. And
How about Left for Dead?
I started that song when I was still with Saving Abel, but I wrote it about my guitar player because he was freaking drunk. So I was like, I was just humming. I was like, I'll be the death of me if the whiskey don't kill me first. I'm
You know
digging
what? I
my own
can't get enough
grave.
of it.
And I was like, I got this song, and they're like, I don't get it. I was like, no, it's cool. It's going to be like, they're like, I don't get it. No. So I ended up doing it after I left Saving Abel. Of course,
How
those are
about
still my
Raise
buddies.
Hell?
Huh?
How about Raise Hell?
Same scenario. Just talk about stories of my life. That makes the best songs. If you haven't lived it, the songs aren't good, I don't think.
I can agree with that because you're talking about things you don't know.
Yeah, that's
Well,
come
with that
across as
said,
fake.
there's got to be a crazy story behind Psycho Sex.
I actually wrote that one with Saving Abel. Me and Jason Knoll wrote that one. We recorded that with Saving Abel. We just never released it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
That was
that's
actually
fun.
that one, and
So
the
what
song
would you
Money I
say
did.
is your favorite part of the process? Like the songwriting, the recording, or the performing?
I am a live musician. It's all about the show for me. I mean, that's the greatest drug in the world. It's you can't explain that energy to anyone. I feel like
I
I've got
love
my
seeing
cat. Can
your
you guys hear my
pictures.
cat yelling somewhere? I feel like my
Yes,
cat.
I love it.
How are you? I don't know. I
Yeah,
feel like
I
she's
can't
locked up
even wait
somewhere.
for your show coming up at Signature because just from the pictures, like, I mean, everyone, you just look like you're like jumping all over the stage and like just
We are a
having
super
fun.
high energy rock and roll show. Super high energy. So,
So, is there anything else that fans can anticipate from this show?
yeah, I love meeting everyone. I love talking to everyone. We can have a beer. I want to make people smile. They can expect to participate because I like crowd participation.
Nice.
I think we can all agree that the world is pretty messed up, but music is freaking awesome. So that's what I try to live by. I try to old school rock and roll. I'm not singing crybaby songs. I'm here to have fun. I think there needs to be more of that. And I don't take myself too seriously either. I think a lot of musicians have a problem with that, high and mighty and assholes. So I do this for the love of the music and to have fun. And I'm
I
grateful
love that.
that I still get to do it after all these years. Can't believe it. So thank you for having me on here. I
No
appreciate it.
problem. We're so excited to have you on, and I'm just like taking in everything that you've been saying, all the places you've been. I'm just like, that's incredible. The life you have lived, you know. I'm like, wow, music really can take you these amazing places and, you know, and
I've
so
been a lot of
talented.
places, that's for sure. I travel nonstop, but it's not for everyone what I do. I mean, being a national artist, people take for granted. You have to be willing to travel the nation if you want to be a national artist. Everybody thinks that it looks so great on the internet, but it's like, oh yeah, there's a 20-hour drive. Like, do you want to do that? Not everybody
Yeah.
does. You know.
Yeah, you
Yep.
just got back from a 6 week.
Yep. Yep. I finished a 3-week tour in
Mhm.
Phoenix. I flew to Jamaica for 2 weeks. I came straight back for another week through Florida and South Louisiana. Now I'm finally home. I got home last night for a few days, and I'm going to be in the studio finishing up a couple of tracks. And I head right back out to come to see you guys.
Yay!
Yeah. How does it feel to be home? Does it take a while to get like readjusted?
Yeah, a little bit. I get used to sleeping with earbuds in because
Mhm.
my band's so freaking loud all the time. Taking tequila shots and partying all night, and I'm like, shut the fuck up.
Mhm.
So when I come home, you know, it's it's just wild. Of course, I have kids, so kids are even crazier than rock stars.
Oh,
Well, I mean, now you said it's your son.
I have a son and I have a 4-year-old daughter, and she's just like me, so she is a freaking turd.
Does she do like does she sing all over the place and like
Oh yeah, she's all about music.
oh that's awesome.
I've been working on. I'm going to add that. You know that song "Take on Me" by Aha. You know the song. Everybody
Yeah.
knows it.
Mhm.
And so I'm going to add part of that into a song. So I've been rehearsing at home, and for some reason she's got in her mind. She's like, "It's my favorite song." She's like, "Hey, Daddy, let's play your favorite song." Like I don't. It's like dee 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 dee. I'm like, no, no. She's like, "Oh yeah, you're doing it. Come on." I'm like,
Oh,
"Ah,
that's a
come on."
TikTok right there.
Yeah. So she's all about it. So she makes me practice it even more than I want to.
It's
So,
funny.
Oh, that's amazing.
yeah, I just
Um,
did a show
so
with a what was Ace Frehley uh, a month or so ago. And my daughter was there, and she interrupted the whole show to bring me a sticker on the stage. She's like, "Come out there." She's like, "Stop! I got a sticker."
I
Like,
love
hey,
it.
there's 10,000 people here. She's like, she don't care. Like, shh. I'm
Oh,
like, say
that's
hi. She's like,
amazing.
take the sticker.
You know what? That's great though that she has the confidence to go out. Like I know kids that like they'll be making a big deal in the crowd and they kind of get pulled up and then they're like,
Well, I
yeah,
don't
I
think she
didn't.
noticed it until she got up there because it's such a bright light. She gets up there, she's like, oh, wait a minute. There's a lot of people here.
It's cute. I
So,
love that.
Well,
so
she learned to
what
walk
would
on a
you
tour bus, so
say?
she is part of it.
How has being part of Saving Abel influenced your solo career? And take that a step further, because how was it going from your family performing with them and then going solo, then going into Saving Abel, and then going solo? How has that
All the
kind of molded you?
transitions you've made.
Well, I did that. I was with my family band when I was much younger, and then I started leading my own band when I was in middle school. So I was already starting to do other things. I wanted to do rock and roll back then because I just like the energy of rock and roll. But I ended up doing blues because I had family connections. I met Stevie Ray Vaughan when I was a child.
That's crazy.
Yeah, he actually asked me one time if he could sleep with my mom. Of course, he didn't say sleep with. He said, "Hey, can I your mom?" And I can remember that. I was so mad at him, and I was like, "No!" I was like 11. He's like, "Well, she said I had to ask you first." I'm like, "You motherfucker!"
That's
I,
incredible. He could play the alley. Yeah, like my mom's. That's like that's like my mom's favorite guitar
yeah,
player.
well, it's a good thing she didn't meet him.
Yeah, right. I know. That's crazy.
But yeah, I didn't know he was that famous. I just thought he was a stinky old drunk. It turns
Wow,
out, but I learned a lot from him. So
that's
So,
uh,
what was
wild.
the best piece of advice that you've ever gotten?
my first major record deal that I got offered, which I didn't get, was I'll just say I won't mention the guy by name, but he's still really big in the industry. His first name is Rob, and he came and I did I did a showcase. It was for Warner Brothers at the time, and I did this showcase. We had we were young and we weren't ready, and I was wearing had no image, had some good songs. He came down, we played. He goes after we got done. He's like, "Well, so how do you think you did?" And I was like, "Well, we did pretty good. Could have been better here." And, da, 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 da. He goes, "Hey, if you don't believe in you, how the hell am I supposed to believe in you?" So that stuck with me. If you don't believe in you, no one else is going to. You have to believe in yourself first, because no matter what you do in this world, there's going to be people that hate you and want to see you fail. So, I mean, you just got to move past all that. This is art. You can't please everybody. Like Adele, one of the greatest singers ever. There's people out there go, man, I hate her voice. What the hell do they know? So
Mhm.
it's art. So just remember, you have to believe in yourself first before anybody else can. And I live by that motto.
That's
If
great.
people tell me now, they're like, "Well, I don't think you're good." I'm like, "Well, obviously you're an idiot." so, I mean, they may be right, but it doesn't matter. I'm going to stick with what I believe, and it seems
You
to have
know
done well
what?
for me
And
so
you've
far.
got like so many just awesome memories and like cool experiences that you gotta like just laugh at those people because like what are they doing?
Well,
Yeah.
most of those people now, they all showed back up, going, "Man, I always believed in you." No wonder full of shit.
Yeah.
But
Always. They always do
I'm sure
that.
you guys have read. I'm sure you've run into people like that as well. If you
Hmm.
haven't, that just means that they're saying it behind your back. So it's just the way people are.
Yeah, it's funny how when you're like doing good on social media or like as far as your image, like it's funny how people come around that.
Oh, everybody's your friend then.
Mhm,
Yeah.
for sure. So we
Everybody
got to
shows up.
know
They think
what's
I'm
the
rich. They think I'm going to pay for the drinks. They're like, "Hey, rock star, you got all the money. You usually buy the
Hmm.
drinks." Like, wait a minute, wait a minute. What happened to me getting
or
free
get you
drinks?
into the shows. I
Oh
bet you
yeah.
probably have a bunch of people like when you're playing like a big show that's like a festival or something, then everybody wants to be your friend because they're like, oh, like get me into the festival for free. Yeah, it's like $300 a ticket for someone to buy a festival ticket. Like, I'm sure you're gonna be my friend.
Yeah. Yeah, I do see a lot of that. I've had people coming to me backstage and tell me they were the singer's cousin to me. I'm like, wow, really? That's cool.
I didn't
You know
know.
you're talking
You at
about
the
me.
family reunion.
Yeah, like we're not yeah. They're like, oh yeah, I'm here for the singer. We're cousins. Like, I'm the fucking singer. What's wrong with you? Pardon my language. I don't know about
Oh
You're
no,
good.
you're good.
okay. But yeah, yeah,
So
that's
what
why
would you
people are.
say is the weirdest thing that you've seen at like a festival or at one of the bigger shows?
Oh my God, I hate to even say. I hate to even say out loud.
You've
I've
got
had
good
some
ones, I can tell.
I've had some messed up shit said to me. I don't know about seen. Hold on. Hey, go see mom, okay? My daughter said, see, she's trying to come in here, get in on it. Did you hear it?
Hmm.
Yeah, I'd rather not say. I'd rather not say. I've seen some messed up shit. I've heard. I've been asked to do some more messed up shit that I've seen.
Oh,
God,
really?
I feel like if I said some of it, I'd get canceled. So,
People
uh,
are so weird. And like I feel like the more that people like kind of embrace the like I don't give a fuck attitude, like I've noticed people just have no filter and literally will just say like the craziest things.
Yeah. Yeah,
I,
definitely.
for example, last year, I had a dwarf ask me to sleep with his woman while he sat on a dresser and beat off. I was like, "What?" My bass
Oh
player
my
heard. He's
god,
like, "What?"
that's kind of
He's
like
like,
that.
What's happening?" Like, I'm like, I'm like,
You're like, what reality am I living in
I'm
right
like,
now? That this
just
is
for real. I'm like, and it burned into my brain. That's why I can remember it. I didn't want to say it out loud, but yeah, that did happen.
oh my
I'm like,
god.
no,
So
thank you,
hectic. I feel
no,
like that
thank
would
you.
go very, very viral.
like, like there's a dwarf sitting on a dresser touching himself.
Oh my god, that's so weird, but like so
That's for real. That's just
definitely.
one example. That's one example.
Can you think
Yeah.
of another example? Because like you led with that one. So I mean,
Yeah, I don't know. No, I don't want to go any further down that rabbit hole. I'll stop there. Needless to say, it's a rock and roll band.
well, since you tour a lot, what is the weirdest thing that you have to have with you on tour?
A band. The weirdest thing is probably a drummer.
That's true.
They're usually the weirdest. Oh, I don't know. I drink a. I'm pretty simple. I'm pretty simple. You know, my rider I comes with Miller Lite.
Nice.
That's it. 2 cases of Miller Lite.
So what is the touring experience like for you?
I've been doing it so long. You know, I do 200 shows a year every year. Back when I was with Saving Abel, we did 300 shows a year. So it's a whirlwind, I guess. It's kind of like an old shoe for me now, though, because you know I've been doing this so long. I have friends everywhere I go, so it's like everywhere I go, I'm like, hey. So I don't really have fans anymore as much as friends.
Yeah.
Is it weird for you, like, when you're not on tour especially with touring? I mean, especially when you were with Saving Abel. I mean, 300 shows, that's a lot of shows. So, I mean, like,
Yeah,
is it weird for you not doing something and kind of like standing still?
shit, I don't. So I don't know. It probably would be. I still do 200. You know, so it's like it's still pretty wild. You know, now I live in Nashville, so I record a bunch when I'm at home now. So I'm still working. Like
So, what,
this.
like, how do you tour with the band? Like, do you guys have like a tour bus situation, or do
Well,
you
we
guys
did,
kind of
but I
like,
have a tendency to think tour buses make people arrogant assholes, and I refuse to work with those anymore. So now I tour in a van to keep people modest, and now I still have to get rid of people sometimes because even then, you know, they get out there and sign titties and shit, and they start thinking that they're hot shit. They forget that it's about the music, not about them. So
Yeah.
I still have to get rid of people quite often because of those situations.
now I would imagine that you're like fun to tour with. Like, do you like play pranks, or like do you have fun with it sometimes?
Well, I like sightseeing, so I like to go. I like to hike, and you know, I go see places that you know no one would ever get to see unless they toured, because you know you wouldn't pick a lot of these places. No, they're not vacation spots. Like we'll find a remote lake in the middle of Kansas, and we'll go see it and take a hike around it. You know, you never go there. No one would go there unless they're locals. So I do that everywhere, and I take my band to see this stuff. Of course, most of the time the band's super lazy and they just sleep through it. Like my guitar player, I'm like, oh, if he don't get his 18 hours, he's dead to the world. So
Where has the best food?
the best food, well, I'm probably a foodie, I guess. You know, I just got back from a Houma, Louisiana yesterday, and I had crawfish and
Oh,
oysters on a half shell and cracklings. I don't know if you're familiar with those up there, but
no.
we don't have those in Tennessee. It's a You should look it up. It's like pork belly that they've cut into little squares, and they fried crispy. It's almost like a pork chop that's cut into little crispy squares. I don't know how to explain it, but it's
Sounds
freaking delicious.
delicious.
It is. Yes.
I feel
Uh,
like if I went down there, I wouldn't ask a bunch of questions. Like, you
yeah, you
either
probably.
just gotta like live and just eat it, or like,
I stopped and bought it out of a shack on the side of the road. I was like, oh, they have a homemade sign. Let's swing in. We did. I didn't get food poisoning, so it was fantastic.
so what's one of the cool, like, unexpected places that you've come across recently?
Uh, Unexpected places I've come across recently. Shit, I don't know. Uh, I'll tell you, Idaho, southern Idaho, is one of the prettiest places in the country, and nobody ever talks about it. Have you ever heard that before? You ever
No.
heard that? No, like they keep it a secret. The Snake River Basin, it is beautiful. It's beautiful, like northern Utah into Idaho,
Mhm.
unbelievably beautiful. So that was pretty spectacular. We stopped in where Evil Knievel tried to jump the Snake River Canyon. I don't know if you guys ever heard about this, but when I travel, we see signs, and I Google a lot of stuff because I'm
Mhm.
curious. I like the traveling. If you don't like the traveling as much as the show, you could never do what I do. So you
Yeah.
have to enjoy the traveling. So I love traveling. I love the experience of the travel, the seeing things. When we ride in a bus, you don't see shit. You're sitting back watching HBO or something. But when
Mhm.
we're riding a van, you see the world. You're connected to the environment.
So
And
you don't you're not just going to play these shows. You're what it really sounds like to me is you're going and you're just embracing the places that you're playing with too. You're eating the local food, you're seeing the local sites, and you're playing
yeah,
the local venues like
I
that.
get to do that. I get to do all of that, and on top of that, I get to play music
Yeah.
and drink free beer. I mean,
Mhm.
like, like I'm living a life. I'm super
Yeah.
blessed. But yeah, it's all about the experience to me. I love the traveling, and it's once again, it's not for everybody. Because I'm from the country. I'm born and raised halfway between Memphis and Nashville, right on the Tennessee River. So I like the outdoors. I like camping. I like doing things like that. Not everybody that I always play with is. Some of the folks are like straight up city boys, so they have panic attacks when they're not in the city. Uh,
Yeah.
they don't stay with me very long usually. But
Can you tell the difference or very early on about who's gonna last, who's not?
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. If somebody makes it a year with me, it's hard for them after they pass the year mark. It's almost hard for them to go back to the real world. I don't know if that
Mhm.
makes sense.
No, it
Because
does. I
if you do
definitely
6 or 8 months, you got a bunch of good stories, and you can still go back to your real life. But if you've been with me for over a year, it's hard to go back to.
Yeah, it's a pattern.
Yeah, it's hard to go back to normal, I guess, because I live a very very unique life, very
That's
blessed.
amazing. Now, is there any place that's still on your bucket list that you wanna play?
Yeah, Hawaii. I played every state except Hawaii. I haven't
Really?
played Hawaii. Yep. I know.
I have
I've,
some friends out in Hawaii. We'll have to try and get you out there.
that would be amazing.
I
Tell you, I
know, I
played it. I
see
played in
pictures.
Costa Rica. That was fantastic. I don't know if you've ever been to Costa Rica. That place
Mm-mm.
is spectacular. I
My
saw a
friend posts
volcano
pictures
erupt.
from Hawaii, and oh my god, like they
Yeah, I want to
just
go there.
it looks unbelievable.
It just costs so much to get a band there. So someone has to pay a fortune just to get us there before they pay us to play. Really, you don't have to pay a band to play there because everybody's already there. They're like, they don't give it, they ain't coming up for the band. They're like, we're here in Hawaii, so it's like Alaska. Alaska was spectacular. That was an amazing place.
Somebody else was just saying that recently that they had played there and that it was really like a cool experience for them.
It snowed at the end of June on us while we were there. The sun never goes down. So it's like, it was daylight the whole time we were there. We were there for a week and the sun never went down. It was
Does that does that kind of throw you off like going between
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, we went out to a restaurant at like 11 p.m. and they're open. There's kids running around. It's like might as well be noon. So I was like, "Is this for real?" Like, but it
See,
was a
I think that's what would get me with touring or like doing anything like that. Like I get thrown off with daylight savings.
well. That's why I was late for your interview today. I'm like, "Oh, I'm not in Eastern Time Zone anymore." I'm like, shit. I just came out of it. I was just in Florida. I'm like, "Oh, damn." So I appreciate you taking the time to talk to me. It's hard to, you know, it's really easy to get lost on the days and the hour. So,
I listen, we have people on from the UK, we have people on, I mean, all
yeah.
over the place. So we're kind of used to people's schedules being a little off. It
well, good.
happens, especially when you've got like family also in the mix. We
Yeah,
get
well,
it.
I had this 4-year-old running around, so it didn't help because she's really glad daddy's home.
Well, I was showing my son because he's got real into Cobra Kai, and I was showing him your mohawk because the one guy
Yeah.
in Cobra Kai has the like really
Oh
long mohawk, and he's like, "That's awesome." I was like, "We could do yours up," and it looks green
yeah.
in the one. I was like, "We could do green," and he's like,
Yeah.
"I don't know about all that. Like, I would
Yeah.
put my mohawk up, but I mean,
I
like,
say
I
when
don't know
kids
about."
see me, they look at their parents. They're like, "Oh, you told me I couldn't have one. He's got one." I'm like, yeah.
That's
Well, I'm
fun.
a hairdresser at heart, so I mean, like,
uh, it's not up
from the
now.
second I had my son,
Run
I
a
was
hat.
like, "Man, he's gonna have a mohawk until he doesn't want it anymore." Oh, that's awesome. Now, what do you use to make it stand totally straight? Because, like, I
Hairspray.
find it so hard to keep my son's, like, up.
Well, I've had one so long that it just kind of does it on its own for the most part. But
It's trained.
I use one kind of hairspray, and it's called It. It's in a gold can. You can buy it at Walmart, Dollar General, any of those places like that. And it's a super fine mist. It's mega
Is
awesome. It
it
works.
like freeze it?
That's what it is. Yes.
Oh, okay.
It's that gold can. It's like a gold can. Not very
I
Hmm.
used
expensive.
to use that back in the like
It works better than
years
anything
ago.
because it's super fine mist, and you know probably people have with it is their mohawks get heavy and lay down. So
Mhm.
that stuff is just really light. Don't use
Oh,
too
it's
much
so
of it
nice
either.
to know that that's still around. Like, I mean, I used to use that, what, high school?
I
So
don't know.
that's been around a while. I mean, like, that's awesome. I
I've been
don't thi
around a
I
while.
think it was a yellow can, like, back in the day when I first started using it, but that's great. That stuff was that stuff used to be so potent whenever I would, like, spray my hair, like, my mom would be like, "What are you doing in here? Like, why does the whole room smell like that?" I'm like, "I'm not doing anything wrong. It's just the hairspray, mom."
Well, it does. It does work. Just don't use much of it. Yeah.
So, for people that have not heard your music, what is the one song that you would want them to listen to first?
I think my cover of Rebel Yell was fantastic. You know, I you know, I don't think anybody likes the sound of their own voice, and if you do, you're a freaking asshole. Just I mean, but I think the version we did of that one came out really really good. I'm really proud of that, and it's a song people have heard before, so it's a good representation of something they've heard, and hear my version. It's a little edgier. My song "Left for Dead" that was doing really good for me right now. Oddly enough, I didn't expect it to. I recorded it and I just kind of gave it out to radio. I didn't put a big
It's
radio
so
push
good.
behind it. Thank you, thank you. Well, it's got a lot of that, that bluegrass gospel feel to it. If you now that you know a little more, you don't hear that much in rock and roll ever. Kind of jazzy a little bit. Uh, that was doing really well for me.
It
But
gives me that, like, that feeling that I get when I listen to the Misfits or, like, just those, like, classic bands, like, I get that when I listen to Left
yeah,
4
we're
Dead.
straight up rock and roll. I don't play metal. I don't play some variation of rock and roll. I'm straight up motherfucking rock and roll. The good shit.
I was actually surprised, and I wanna ask you because somebody said it was for marketing purposes, and I'm just curious. With Saving Abel, do you consider them pop?
Uh, no, we're Southern rock.
Do you know why they're under? Because 'cause they're under pop music for genre.
Well, because the songs got so big that it crossed over into the popular genre. The band got so
Mhm.
big. It was rock and roll, but it actually crossed over into pop. It was just a gigantic band. Now it's one of the bigger bands it's been. People don't realize it, but when you start doing some research, like even I did when they hired me, I didn't realize how big the band was. So, but yeah, they're a giant band, and when they get so big, it went into the popular realm. You know, there's usually one rock band that's picked into the pop realm. And Saving Abel was that one. Kind of like Hinder and Lips of an Angel, you know.
Huge songs.
Yeah,
You know,
that song
everybody.
Addicted was so big.
I know.
It made it
You
hard
know
for us to
what?
put out any
I
music
feel
afterwards.
like Addicted's one of those songs that like everybody's got a memory that like they had when they heard that song. Like,
Yeah, it'll play beside Sweet Home Alabama and shit forever. One of
Mhm.
those songs. It's, you know, it's not as much about a hit song as much as a song that lasts, and they got that song that, you know, that lasts. But you know, it also gave us trouble when we was trying to record and release more songs, because you know that song was so big. We'd release songs, and you know, radio's like, man, that's fantastic. Do you have anything like Addicted? We're like, yeah, Addicted. We have one just like it. It's called Addicted. But you know, they always wanted that one again, so we ended up getting ourselves, you know, getting in our own heads. Like, I don't. So we just kind of, we recorded a bunch of stuff we never released. We have a whole record we never released that we're still sitting on.
Whoa.
really?
Mm-hmm. We may
Is
release
there
it
any
someday.
chance that it would ever get released?
Who knows? Who knows? You know, I mean, you know, we're still talking about doing some playing together. You know, Jason and Bartlett and Wilson, all of us, we're still friends, and we're talking about playing. But there's a lot going on right now that I don't want to get into too much. But at some point, we will play together, me and those guys. Even if we play under a different name, we'll play again. You know. But
I love Bartlett on Facebook. Like he always like asks questions that like really make you think.
Bartlett, yeah, he's the one that I wrote Left for Dead about.
Oh, really?
Yeah, at least the first part of it. Yeah, he drinks
They
he'll
seem
drink
like
a half
they
a
would
gallon
be
of
so
Jack
much
Daniels a
fun,
day.
though.
Oh yeah, we have got into some bullshit. I'll tell you that.
Do you
That's some
like
wild times.
if they asked you to, would you ever consider touring with the band again?
Yeah, we talk about it now. We talk about it
Oh,
now.
okay.
We already plan on doing it. Like I said, we just don't. You know, we haven't. All the logistics and everything else hasn't worked out yet. But yeah, it's already in the works.
That's so fun. So what? Tell us more about the tour that you just got back from.
With Tantric, we just did a tour with Tantric. We went all across the country. We had a blast. I really like Hugo. He's a really good dude, and just wild rock and roll times. We went out to Phoenix and southern Idaho and see all these beautiful spots out there. Played Utah. Got to spend my birthday in Vegas, so, or at least I think.
That's fun.
I can't really recall, but I'm pretty sure we were there. But, it was a wild ride. Another wild ride. Yeah, they're all fun. It's always fun. Hell, I'm already on to this next one. We're gonna have a blast coming up to your area. I've got some cool stuff in the works for next year.
And
You know what?
and our friend Alex is actually opening for you.
Hell yeah, that's awesome.
She's
Well,
amazing.
you guys are gonna come.
She's a
You guys are gonna
powerhouse
come
herself.
out. You guys
Yeah.
are coming out, right?
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Yep, we will be there. I'm so excited. I've had so many people like hitting me up like, is that the Scotty Austin? Because when it says like former vocals for Saving Abel, like under, it's so tiny when I put it on my story. Like I've had so many people reach out to me, they're like, is that Scotty Austin like from Saving Abel? I'm like, yep. Him in the flesh. He'll be at
that's me.
signature.
I got some cool shit in the works for next year too. You know, I played in Seattle a few months back, and Peter Dante was my opening band. I don't know if you know who that is. He was in all the Adam Sandler movies.
Okay.
Yeah. You ever seen the movie Grandma's Boy?
Yeah.
That movie. He's the guy's like, hey, you can't be loud like that when the lion's here. He was the pot dealer, you know. Like, yeah, I don't know if you know what I'm talking about. The guy that had the monkey and shit, the pot dealer. but I didn't recognize his name. And my drummer was like, "Holy shit, that's Peter Dante." I'm like, "Who?" I was like, "Oh shit, I know that guy." And I went and talked to him, and we hit it off. And now we're gonna do some acoustic tours this next year. I'm going out with him, and I'm taking out different singers with me. Like in beginning of the year, I'm going out, me and Peter and Vinny, the singer of Sponge. We're going to do just an acoustic run, the three of us. And then February, I'm going out with Michael, the singer of the Misfits, and me and Peter. We're going out to do an acoustic run. And then I've got another one lined up that's going to come out. It's with Chris from Trapped, and another one with Danny from Rehab. So it's going to be a wild year of just some fun acoustic runs, telling stories about our songs and backing each other up. And
I was really excited to hear about you with Rehab, because I would love to see that. I really hope that you guys come to Pennsylvania.
Well, I think we are coming up probably towards your area, so you'll have to keep your eyes open and ears open for
definitely.
that. Because I think that one will actually be coming up to that area. We can't overlap areas because I have radius clauses. In your national band, you can't, you have radius clauses, which means you can't play somewhere within, a couple of months before or after within a certain amount of mileage from an area because we're expensive,
Oh, they make it difficult.
Yeah, it's definitely not, it's not the same as, like a local band who they can play every Friday, So, but we will be up in your area with one of those tours, and I'm pretty sure it will be the one with Danny from Rehab. So we'll have to get back. We'll have to get back on here and promote that one too.
So, can you tell us a little bit about the music that you're working on right now?
Yeah, I just recorded a song with Danny from Rehab. We're doing a song together. We're coming out with at the beginning of the year, and I'm really excited about it. It's freaking awesome. I can't wait for you guys to hear it. I mean,
and when did you say that that's coming out?
Early next year.
Oh, that's so exciting.
Yeah, I haven't put out any slow songs, but this one is a real chill, like acoustic song. And I mean, it's not just acoustic, it has all the other shit in it, but it's totally different for me. But it's fucking awesome. It's awesome.
Now, is that your first time doing anything with Danny?
It's my first time. Well, I mean, we tour a lot together, but yeah, it's the first time doing a song together. I've done some songs with other people, like one of the guys from the Insane Clown Posse. I did a track with a couple years back, and I've got another one coming up with a rapper next year.
What?
I can't recall his name off the top of my head. He's a huge artist too. It's so stupid. I can't remember his name, but yeah, it's gonna be a big one too. He's a bigger artist than me.
How was it working with Insane Clown Posse? Because I heard that they're like so fun to work with. What was that experience?
It was just one of the guys from that group, and he just sent me the song and had I just sing choruses, because I'm a singer, so they want me to sing the melodic parts. So they just sent it to me, and I wrote a part and sent it back, and they used it. Fuck, what's his name? I can't recall his name either.
So are there any tracks that you've been on that people would be surprised to hear that you did vocals on?
I've done so much random shit. I just don't know. I honestly don't know. I'd have to go back and look at my BMI charts and see what I'm getting paid on. I did a really huge video game soundtrack that was #1 for me a couple of times from back in the day.
Oh, what video game?
Dead Rising was the name of the video game, and I got a #1 off that one twice. Oddly enough.
Wow. That's cool.
So they turned it into a movie.
What was that experience like?
I got screwed on the contract, but I got a #1. FYI, don't sign contracts that are Japanese without somebody translating for you. I didn't care. I
Was
didn't even
that a
think the song
crazy
was that good.
experience though? Because I like gamers are very loyal and like
Yeah.
they
Yeah,
flock.
it was a
I mean, if they like you, they like you.
yeah. That I mean, the song it's been used on other stuff too, like just a bunch of different stuff. I'm
Now,
not gonna
have
get
you
too deep
played the
into it,
game?
but yeah, yeah, it's a fun game. It's called Dead Rising. So they've made several of them. The movie, it's a huge franchise.
Mhm.
It went number one, and then Madden came out and knocked it off the charts, and then it went right back to number one. So it hit number one twice for me,
Wow.
and they used my whole song in the game too, so it helped.
Oh, that's awesome.
It was a boss fight song. I didn't even think it was that great of a song. It was literally something I just threw together to try to
I
finish a
was just
record at the
saying
time.
that earlier. Like, I mean, I can't sing, so I mean, like, I don't have that skill, but like, I'll make the like stupid videos on TikTok, and it's amazing. Like the ones that I'll like put thought into, they'll get like, like 20, 30 likes. The ones that I'm literally like contemplating not posting, it's like 1,000 views in like a couple hours. I'm like, what?
Well, you're thinking too deep into it. That's the problem. Don't think so much.
I think
It
people
happens to
like the awkward,
happens to
messy.
yeah, it happens to musicians all the time. Jason, our main songwriter from Saving Abel, he keeps it simple. Like he writes all the big hits like a teenager wrote that shit. I'm like,
Hmm.
well, that's stupid, but people relate. It's easy to translate to people, and that's the ones that people gravitate towards. It's just it's really easy to overthink shit, and people don't care enough to dig that deep. They might at a certain point, but the majority of people just want to hear it and get something from it immediately. So that's why your videos you don't think too much about are going over better.
Do you
Easy
feel
to
that any
digest.
of your songs that from your catalog or from Saving Abel didn't get the recognition that you thought that they were going to get?
Uh, yeah, yeah. And like this Left for Dead, I really didn't think this one would do as well as it did. It hit 11. It's a number 11 right now on the secondary charts, and I recorded that 2 years ago, and I didn't think it was a hit, so I didn't put it out. But I got a new label, and it was like, we're putting out the song with Rehab next year. And they're like, well, do you have anything that we can put out to radio now? They're like, oh yeah, I got this song setting on, and I gave it to him. But frick, it's doing better than this song I put out as a solo artist. I'm like, son of a bitch, I've been sitting on this for 2 years. I got it. Like, damn, I guess I could have put it out already, but I just didn't think. We usually do a press release and everything to put it out. We didn't do any of that for this song. It was like, here's a song. 2 weeks later, we hit radio with it, and the radio people love it. They're like, this is great. This is the best thing you've done yet. Like, really? God, I didn't even. Cool. That's what I was thinking. It wasn't. Absolutely, it wasn't. But
Is it like
just
a
over.
crazy experience, like to be somewhere and hear your song playing on the radio and just kind of be like sitting there like, that's my song?
Yeah, well, yeah, but usually now people they try to play the shit now if they see me there. But it used to be more surreal than it is now. It's still great. I love it. It's like people are like, don't you get sick of taking pictures and autographs? Hell no. I'm so grateful to get to play music for people, and the fact that people love it still. I'm I'm beyond happy. There's a famous baseball player, Roger Clemens, came out to one of my shows a couple of years back, and he had a bunch of his friends with him, and like his friends are telling him like, "Hey man, take a picture." So they're getting him to take pictures of me with them. So I'm like, "Okay, man. Well, since they're doing that, I'm going to ask you for an autograph." I was like, "Do you mind?" He's like, "No." He's like, "Because at some point, people aren't going to ask anymore. It's like that's a fact. Be grateful that people care enough to ask. Some people are assholes and don't want to do that for some freaking reason. I don't understand it. The only reason we get to do this is because the good grace and love of our fan base. Uh,
So I have my fun question. I've been trying to, with every interview, kind of ask a fun question that's kind of like just for that person. So this one's yours. If you could turn any book or movie into a rock opera, what would it be?
What book or movie would it be? I don't know. Uh, one of the best books I ever read was All Quiet on the Western Front. It's
All Quiet on the Western Front?
absolutely. I know it's a serious book. It was wrote by, I believe it was a German soldier or Russian soldier during World War One, and it was a huge bestseller all across the world because all the soldiers from every country related to it. It's pretty magical, and I think it would be epic. I think it would be epic. You know, I know you're probably thinking something funny and something maybe like that, but no, I think that would be a.
Honestly, I'm thinking like that would probably be a really cool idea for something like that because you like just
I think they
pull
turned it
in
into a
like the
movie fairly recently.
history and
I haven't
like
seen the movie. Yeah, you should check it out. You should look it up. All Quiet on the Western Front. It's an older book. I read it back in college, and I read it a few times because it was so good. Such a good book.
it's awesome. I'll definitely look into it. I'm always looking for something new to read or listen to or
I mean, it's a hard one to get started because it's an older book, and it's a serious read, but yeah, it's really good. Really good
sometimes
book.
you need a serious read.
Well, if you're looking for one, that is the one. There's also Brave New World by Aldous Huxley is a great one too.
That's a great
I've heard of that one.
That's a great book.
It's a
Now,
classic.
what's that one about?
Gene manipulation.
Okay,
Basically, it was wrote in the 20s, and it's about literally where we're at right now with society.
that would be a
Basically,
crazy show. That would be
foretelling
crazy
the
to turn
future.
into an opera.
They made it into a movie, a rough version of it called Gattaca a few years back.
What's it called?
Gattaca was the name of a movie they made, roughly based on it. But it's saying that they're gene manipulated people into being born into being alphas and betas. Some people were born to be janitors, and some people were born to be the ruling class, and it was gene manipulation that made them that way. And and there's always going to be people that want to buck the system. Yep. Sorry to get all nerdy.
Hey, I just went to this place that I always say it wrong. Jesse, you'll be able to help me. But Goblin Alchemy, did I say that right? The place in the Ritz.
Oh,
The guy like jumped out. I was like doing an interview with the guy and I tried to say the name and the guy's like, it's not said like that. I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm known for saying things wrong. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's always fun. It's always fun. Like, you can just tell me the right way. You don't have to be a dick.
But it was this really cool space that this guy, he loved Dungeons and Dragons, and he created just like a third space that you can go if you want to play games or read. They have like books, and he handmade all the tables. It's really cool. Like it was just a cool spot. And then they have axe throwing in the back.
That
Like,
sounds
who
freaking
doesn't
awesome.
want to read a book and throw an axe?
I used to play Dungeons and Dragons when I was in high school, but I was not the cool kid, But
hey, all
things
those
have paid
games
off
are
for me.
making a comeback. Like we've even had bands on that they play Magic.
I play Magic.
Yeah, the one at Bruce Stock, they started playing Magic like in the pit.
I've seen that.
Oh, wow.
I love nerdy stuff like that.
That's a different kind of pit.
You can always find a section. I see so many pits now because like I do a lot with American mosh pits and Beyond the Barrier. So it's crazy like seeing the other side of the pit. Like I try to run down, talk to some fans. I'm small. So I mean like I could just be taken away by the twirling circles very easily.
Well, you know, rock and roll and fantasy has always went together pretty well. You know, medieval fantasy more than, you know, science fiction, but fantasy and metal, I guess, have been hand in hand for a long time.
So is there anything in the future as far as like new elements or instruments that you're looking to explore or add to your songs?
I'm always looking to do stuff. I got a song that I just used bagpipes with distortion on. I haven't released yet, but
That's crazy.
yeah, I know.
Hey,
I do all kinds of weird shit in the studio. I mean,
I don't know, bagpipes, like I just find that so fascinating.
well, you can barely tell it's bagpipes because I've run all these effects through it and everything. But you know, he's come out with a weird sound, and I liked it.
So do we know when that's going to be released?
No, no, I don't. I don't know. I'm sitting on a whole bunch of songs. I've just been releasing one song at a time. I'm about to release a full-length album this coming year, so that'll be on it, I'm sure. I need to go ahead and put a record out. I've got a bunch of songs together that I've done. I just need to organize them into a full-length record.
Okay, for new listeners that want to stay on top of your pop-up drops, where do you usually spend most of your time? Facebook, Instagram? I mean,
Facebook, I'd imagine. And,
okay.
you know, I have a website, ScottyAustinOfficial.com. They keep up with everything there. So there's ticket links for all of my shows, and
They're all
they
running
keep.
on the bottom.
Oh hell yeah! Look at you go! Look at you! Good shit! Yeah, all that right there.
Yeah, our producer's on top of things.
Right, that's awesome. Well, all of
So
that.
we're getting close to our time, so we're gonna wrap things up. But I am so excited to see you on the 6th. And for anybody that is in the Scranton, Poconos surrounding area, Scotty
Come out! It's going to be a
Austin,
blast. It's going to be a freaking blast.
Alex. I don't really know the other bands, but
There are two fantastic bands I'm bringing with me. One is Paralandra, but it's a girl singer, and she is freaking awesome.
Alex
Her
said
dad,
that she had played a show with them before and that they were incredible.
yeah, her dad is the guitar player in the band, and he also plays for the band Petra, which is a huge Christian rock band. I don't know if you're familiar with them, but I'm not truly familiar with them, but I have looked up a little bit, and they're like stadium big. So, but yeah, they're freaking awesome. And this other band called 7 Year Witch that I just really like. I really like them.
I've heard of them. Somebody was just talking about them the other day.
It's like they look like the band Extreme from the '80s, but the guy sings kind of like Jack White, you know, from the White Stripes. He's kind of got that tone of his voice. Unique band, really good. It's going to be a great night of great rock and roll. I mean, I'm a fan. I'm a music fan first, so I'm bringing a couple of bands that I like. So you guys come out. I promise it's going to be a fun night. Good bands, straight up rock and roll.
Oh, I'm excited. And that venue is just a really nice venue.
And I'll be there the whole time. So you guys come say hello to me. Of course, my hair will be a lot taller then.
Are you bringing merch?
I will bring merch.
I never know when it's touring bands and you've got to travel. Like, I never know if they're like just going to bring a couple shirts or like.
No, I got merch. Of course, it's the end of the year, and I just came off a tour, so I've sold a shit ton of it, which is a good thing. I usually restock at the beginning of the year, but I do have some stuff left. Like
what's been your most like popular piece that's gone?
hats, I guess. But I make socks too. I have socks, which I think is just the coolest. So I like the socks. They're my favorite. But shirts always go good. But I do have hats that have been going really good, and just a
I
bunch of different
appreciate
shit.
the socks. Like I always grab socks when
Well,
people
not
have
many
socks.
bands carry socks.
Sumo
Yeah.
Psycho had them. I
I
think that was
love
the last
that.
band that I saw with socks. But
Well,
I
now
love
you'll see it again soon.
I love when people have like other things other than like the typical t-shirts, hoodies.
Well, that's I'm sponsored by this company called Tony Sacheries. That it's a Cajun seasoning company, and the guy's wife told me like I should get socks. He's like, everybody has t-shirts. Like, I didn't think about that. Like, and I got them, and people fucking love them. I think I like them more than everybody else does, though. But you got to do some things because you like it too, and I like the
Well,
socks.
socks are fun. Like I used to like my cousin was in Catholic school and she could never wear she couldn't even wear colored socks. And like I used to just be like taken aback by the fact like let alone she couldn't have nail polish, but I'm like, dude, I couldn't deal with not being able to wear like festive socks. Like I've always worn festive socks my entire life. Like I could not imagine. I mean, still to this day, like on a random day, you're gonna catch me in Hello Kitty socks.
Well, you're like my socks are really festive. They're bright.
The
Yeah,
only
they're
ones I
pretty
haven't
colorful.
really got into is like the ones that like they look like feet, like they have
Yeah,
the like individual
Oh yeah,
toes.
no, mine are actual socks. They're not. They don't have toes on them. They
Like so many people are into those toe socks, and like I don't know.
yeah, that's. I don't know if that's a sock or a knit shoe.
Yeah, they definitely like came out with shoes. I saw someone actually wearing them not too long ago, and I'm like, wow, like you really went out in them. Like
Those are
Crocs, I can understand Crocs, but
Crocs are
like
the ugliest damn things ever made. I can't believe
they
those things
are,
are
but
so
I
popular.
kind of dig the like spike ones. I think I would rock them. Like the big platform ones.
Yep, the goth Crocs.
My
Would you
guitar
rock
player from
them?
Saving Abel,
I
he
would.
wears Crocs everywhere he goes. We'll be taking
But
pictures with fans, and he's got on pajama pants and Crocs. Like, okay, well, he wrote all the hits, so I guess he can wear what he wants.
I love the people that wear the like our producer, he has them in like all different colors and he'll rock them like with such confidence. I love it.
My daughter wears them, but she's 4, so
I'm so weird with like like I don't know. I'm weird. Like I can't wear Toms or like any of those ones that like go over the top of my foot. I don't know. I'm very weird. It has to be like a regular
I
shoe.
wear Vans slip-ons. I'm
Same.
gonna, yeah, it's the way to go. They're just as easy to put on as Crocs, but way cooler.
Mhm.
Definitely.
Thank you,
But
ladies, so much for having me. I do appreciate this. Thank you.
No
oh,
problem.
and we are gonna have so much fun on the 6th, and this will be this will come out on the 4th, so we'll get it out everywhere. I'll send it over to you so that you can post it up, and we'll get as
Sounds
many
great.
people as we can over to Signature.
That sounds awesome. I hope some people come out. I know I will help get the word out. I do appreciate you helping get the word out so we can try to get some people in there because it's going to be a great time. As long as people know to show up, they're going to have a blast. Guaranteed. I've done
Oh
this a lot of
yeah, we've
times. I'm
been
pretty good
blasting
at
it
it.
on all of our sites, and definitely. And we've been like going in between your link and Alex's link. So both links are up
Oh, yeah.
on our Facebook pages and everything. So, but thank you so much for
Fantastic.
taking the time and can't wait to see you on the 6th.
Thank
I'll
you.
see you ladies soon.
All right.
Bye.
So cool. Such a awesome history with music and all the different things he has going on.
Yeah, he's really been in a lot of different genres. Like, I love that so many bands that we've been talking to do have that bluegrass
Mm-hmm.
background. Like, I've been
Oh
hearing
yeah.
that a lot recently. And
Well,
it's
blues
crazy because a
is
lot of them are actually into the heavier music.
blues is the root of all of that music. Everything came from blues. Like all like blues is rock came from blues. Metal came from rock. Blues is the root of that entire genre. So it makes a lot of sense. A lot of my friends that are really good at guitar and stuff like that is because they are really good blues musicians, and that translated to metal later on. So it's really cool that blues has so much history, and I think that's really cool what he's doing and everything he's done. I want to thank all our viewers for coming out, and I want to and watching, and if you're not subscribed. Check out Allie's photographs that she took of the millionaires. I don't know when they're coming out or if they're already out. The
They're
millionaires.
on my page. They're on my Facebook and Instagram.
So you should
I
check
do
those out.
have more to go through. I have so many pictures, literally. I'm
Hmm.
sorry for any of the bands, and I'm a little bit behind. Like, I go through the album and I give them
Hmm.
like a grouping of pictures that I get through right away. But honestly, I go back and like are constantly kind of just sending out random
Hmm.
like
I get it.
even nail bite today. I found two like really awesome videos that I got of nail bite. I like sent them over today. I'm like, dude, I just love these videos. So here.
That's cute. I love that.
But well, I love seeing you. I love our time on the show together.
As
So
always, I want to thank thank our producer, thank Allie. They're the backbone of the show, besides our viewers. I'm just like, love you guys. And we'll see you
we're
next week.
thankful for you.
We'll see you next week, guys.
Bye.
Bye.